How likely are we to get some sort of a deal? I mean, it's going to be something the market's going to be watching very closely.
I'm sure the market will be, and we'll be discussing it forever. The point I'm making is that there is no compatibility to actually make a formal agreement. When you make a formal agreement, you go through the entirety of a relationship between the two countries. What are the raw materials, intermediate goods, final goods? What are you taxing? Where do you put tariffs? In the case of agreement, it's a legally binding agreement that everybody expects you to more or less observe. With deals, you're not going through any of that. You're just lumping 10% here, 20% there, and it's not legally binding, and nobody expects anyone to comply. And so I tend to sort of derate it. From my point of view, as I said, there is no stopping of all of those trade wars and de-globalization as we go forward. So the market will be looking at it, and if there is any positive news, clearly the markets will react. But in reality, I don't think it means much.
All right, Viktor. So, here's the thing. You make a good distinction between agreements, which are legally binding, and deals, which are not, right? But at this juncture, with the clock ticking, we're less than 5 weeks away from the end of the 90-day pause. A lot of folks are saying that President Trump is going to want a couple of wins to show for all this tough talk and these apparent negotiations that have been going on. And they're literally, as one guest put it earlier this morning, they're basically good only as TV moments, I almost hate to say. But, I mean, that is what the market is trading on,
yes.
Is it not?
Yep, it is. It's a reality television and nothing more than that. The point is, if you're an investor rather than a day trader, what does it mean to you? Well, essentially, it doesn't mean a great deal. As I said, you must assume that the degree of anarchy that we have seen in trade and in other things will just continue. Now, hopefully, some of the heat will go away from the relationship, not only between the U.S. and China, but also U.S. and European Union, for example, and other trading partners. So hopefully some of it will go away, but not for too long. Because remember, anytime it can be broken and changed. So, for example, if current account deficits don't fall the way people expect, tariffs will come back. If the trade gets diverted to other countries, tariffs will come back. If you get negotiations on a completely irrelevant subject, nothing to do with trade or goods, tariffs could come back in. So how much confidence can you have as an investor or as a company that is investing that any of those tariffs actually have any meaning?
So what do you do? I mean, as opposed to a day trader who trades tick by tick, second by second, right? What do you do as an investor then, a long-term investor?
Switch off X and Truth Social and don't listen. Because as an investor, what you want to see is the ability of companies that you invest to be able to overcome those challenges and continue to grow. Now, they need to have certain management, they need to utilize technology, capital markets, they need to have the wind behind their back, they need to have certain circulated productivity drivers. To me, that's the essence. Otherwise, you'll be just going from a tick to tick and from one announcement to another announcement without really knowing, do you have a strategy? What are you trying to achieve? So to me, the answer was to avoid listening to all of that as much as you possibly can and focus on circular and productivity drivers.
Yeah, would that necessarily mean, Viktor, that this would almost exclude all U.S. companies?
Well, no, it doesn't. One of the great things about the U.S. is that structurally economy is incredibly sound, private sector is incredibly sound, and so that same applies to the corporate sector. It's the only major country in the world to add labor, capital, and grow multi-factor productivity all at the same time. Now, it is undermining its exceptionalism. It is undermining the pillars that made U.S. exceptionalism. But that doesn't preclude you from looking at the U.S. corporates, and some of them will be able to grow almost irrespective of the winds that they are facing.